Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I am really excited to share with you my October TBR. We are now in spooky season, October. I'm so excited. I'm fully embracing my spooky era right now. I've got this amazing Halloween movies t-shirt on, which I got from Stitch S. I'll leave a link to the website in the box down below because I love the Stitch S's. I've got a few sweatshirts and now I've got a few Halloween tops. They are honestly some of my favourite tops and sweatshirts to get from there. So I am here with my October TBR. There's going to be a lot of spooky reads. I'm just feeling in the mood for just spooky, some horrors and thrillers. I want to try and get more into horror this year, and I will be taking part in 3 different readathons this month. One of them is hosted by the lovely Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero, and the others are hosted by Bar from Bar's Bookland and also Becca from Becca in the Book. So you can maybe guess what these readathons are, but I will go into more detail in the video. But I have picked out a few books that I can use across all of these readathons, so I am so excited to share with you my October TBR. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so first up, the first readathon that I'm going to be taking part in October is Spookoplathon, which is run by Becca from Becca in the Books. This is basically a spooky version of her Spookoplathon board that she does every so often, and this is this October Halloween version, and this is my second time taking part in this, and I really enjoyed doing it last year. So I did my rolls. I ended up doing 5 rolls, and I have picked out some books that will work for these prompts. So without further ado, I'll tell you what prompts I got and the books I picked out for those prompts. So I've got all the books listed on my phone, so if you see me looking down my phone, that's what I'm doing. So the first prompt that I got is pumpkin carving, and the prompt for that was to read a book that has a face on the cover. So it doesn't have to be a whole face, it could be like an eye or something that resembles a face. So I have decided to go for a short spooky middle grade. I've heard really good things about it, and I've read another middle grade from this offer, and it is Shadow Hall Academy, The Whispering Walls by Phil Hext. Phil Hext is the author of the Evelyn Jones series. I've read the first 2 books in that series and I really enjoyed their spooky middle grades, and this one it's got a bit a dark academia kind of vibe, but it's set in a boarding school with Lillian Jones, who starts at creepy, cold, bewildering large Shadow Hall Academy. She's nervous about making friends, and when her roommates tell her the school's haunted, she thinks that they're just trying to scare the new girl. But then bizarre things start happening, tapping and whispering in the walls at night, tales of missing students and strange figures in the woods. Lillian discovers that not only are the school ghost stories true, but her new friends could be in danger. So she sets out to uncover the secrets of Shadow Hall Academy, whatever it takes. It's quite a short one, so I think I wanted to try and get at least some short books on my Spookoplathon TBR, but I'm really excited for this one, and this cover just looks so fun. And as you can see, there's a few faces on the cover with the main characters, and then there's like a ghost kind of figure in here. You can't really see the face, but it looks like there's a spooky ghost kind of character there. But I'm really excited for this one. So this is going to be my first read for my Spookoplathon TBR. For my second prompt, I rolled the poll pick prompt. So basically I had to set up a poll on Instagram or on Discord, anywhere really, and pick out a couple of books and ask people to vote on them. So what I did was I picked 4 different new horror releases that I was really interested in. So I put down Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I put down The September House by Carissa Orlando, I think that's her name, and also Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning, and I can't remember the other one I put down. That's terrible, but I had 4 different books that I put down for it, and the winner of the poll was The September House by Carissa Orlando. This is a haunted house story. I think it's a new release as well. I think it came out quite recently, and I think the plot for this one follows a woman who moves into this house and a lot of spooky stuff starts happening, and she decides to stay in the house. She doesn't leave, and I think she has a daughter that she's trying to keep all of this away from, and the daughter somehow ends up getting involved in this house, and there's like spooky haunting going on. I don't want to know too much about it, but I know Steph read this recently and she really liked it. So The September House I'm going to read for the poll pick prompt. My third roll got me the feed scroll prompt. So basically that meant that I had to go on Goodreads or Instagram and basically scroll through my both of those apps, and basically if there was a book that came up that I haven't read yet, I had to pick to read that book. So I did do that. I scrolled through and there wasn't quite a lot that I was interested in, but there was a book that I have already read, but I am planning to do a reread of it for Barb from Barb's Bookland's book club. This is the October book that I'm reading for her book club, and it is The Pumpkin Spice Latte by Laurie Gilmore. This is a reread for me. It's cozy autumn vibes. It follows this woman who runs the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. She takes over from her auntie, and there's a grumpy sunshine character who ends up who delivers produce to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and they end up forming a relationship, and it's a cute cozy little town, and I really enjoyed it the first time I read it, so I'm really excited to read of it and continue on with the series, as the second book has just come out quite recently, so that will also be mentioned in this TBR as well. But that was for my feed scroll prompt. For my fourth row, I landed on Bram Stoker, and the prompt for that was to read a book that features vampires. Very self-explanatory. Bram Stoker is the author of Dracula, so obviously I had to be a book with vampires. And this one I've been meaning to get to for a while. It's actually on my 12 Books and 12 Friends, and I cannot remember who put this on my 12 Books and 12 Friends, so I do apologise. But the book in question is A Court of Undying Seasons by A.M. Strickland. I haven't read an A.M. Strickland before, but I know that she's done In the Ravenous Dark, which was sapphic, so I don't know if this is another sapphic one, but this is a vampire story set with a court of vampires, and I think that there's some vampires that end up getting murdered, so there's a mystery element to it as well, and I'm really excited for this one, and I love the cover for this one. It's absolutely stunning. So that is going to be from my Bram Stoker prompt. For roll number 5, I landed on the spooky prompt, and that is basically to read a spooky book. So anything spooky, so horror vibes, thriller vibes, anything like that. And I decided to go for a horror. I think you would class this as a horror that I've been wanting to get to for a while, and I haven't managed to do so, but I end up getting a physical copy of it because I'm really keen to get to it, and that is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I'm also going to be buddy reading this with Barb from Barb's Bookland as well. So this follows Mallory, who gets a new job looking after this little boy called Teddy, and he ends up starting to draw these really creepy drawings, and Mallory doesn't know what's going on, if Teddy is being possessed, and it turns out that somebody else could be drawing these pictures. Teddy's got this imaginary friend called Anya, and it's basically, I don't know how wild this is going to get, but there is some mixed media in here, and the pictures, you do get the pictures in here, so they start off like quite nice, like that, which looks really nice, but then they do start to get a little bit more sinister, like that. So I am really excited for this one, and I have heard a lot of good things. Even Stephen King has blurbed it, which is quite interesting. I loved it. The surprise is really surprise, and it has the hard, and it has that hard to achieve propulsiveness that won't let you put it down. So I'm really keen to get to this one, so that was going to be for my spooky prompt. Okay. And finally, for my last row, I landed on most recent purchase. So this book, I've been wanting to try the series for a while, because I know Steph started reading the series recently and she's been absolutely loving it, and I know Katie Colson also loves the series. But it is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayborn. I've read Sick Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayborn, and I really liked it, but this series I think is going to be really up my street. It definitely gives me Stalking Jack the Ripper vibes, and we're following Veronica Speedwell, and I don't know how to pronounce what she does, but she works with butterflies. She's a butterfly expert, and these are kind of mysteries with a little bit of romance sprinkled in there, historical kind of elements in there as well. And there's a guy called Stoker that she ends up entangled with, and he's very grumpy sunshine, and they bicker like an old married couple. But I'm really keen to give this series a try, because I know Steph's been absolutely loving it, and I just love, these are the American editions I got on Books Please, and I just love these covers so much. They are so pretty. But I am really keen to get to it, and I just love the flop on this. It's so floppy. So that is all the books that I'm going to be reading for my Spookoplathon TBR, and I'm really excited. So I will move on to the next readathon that I'm going to be taking part in, which I'm also very excited for. Okay guys, so the next readathon that I'm going to be taking part in is the TBR Harvest readathon, which was created by Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero, and this is my second time doing this readathon, and I really enjoyed doing it last year. So how this works is Leandra has basically created 3 different activity sheets. You can pick and choose which ones you want to do. If you want to just do the one, you can do. If you want to do all 3 of them, you can do, but I think I'm just going to stick with the one. So I've decided to go for the trick or treat activity sheet. So basically there are 28 items and they each have a prompt attached to them, and you read a book to collect that item basically, and I think it's really good for like mood readers like myself that like to chop and change their TBR every so often. So I have picked out a few books that I'm going to be doubling up on these prompts because I'm not going to have time to do 20 books in October, so I've decided to pick a book and double up on as many prompts as I can because I think that will just be easier for me. So I'm just going to show you the books that I've picked out for this readathon and which prompts I'm going to be using for which book. So I'm really excited to be taking part in this. So without further ado, I'll talk you through the TBR for that. Okay guys, so I briefly mentioned for Spookoplathon I was going to be reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, so I'm going to be doubling up on that as well for the Trick or Treat TBR games. So the prompts that I've decided to go for the Pumpkin Spice Cafe I'm going to use is a hot drink on the cover, pumpkins on the cover, and a reread. So I have reread it. There is pumpkins on the cover, and there is on the cover little cups for pumpkin spice lattes. So I think that works pretty much. That's probably the best I'm going to be able to do. So I think I briefly mentioned the synopsis for Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's just very much autumn vibes, and I'm just here for cozy autumn vibes. So that's my first book for this reading challenge. Okay guys, so the next book that I'm going to be using for the readathon I'm really excited about, and the book in question is The Crimson Crown by Heather Walter. I love this cover so much, it's absolutely stunning. So for this book I am going to be using the prompts for a romantic subplot. It's sapphic, which is amazing. It's witchy, a fairy tale retelling, and a new release. So this came out this year. It's got witches. It's a fairy tale retelling based on Snow White, but focusing on the evil queen, a reimagining of the evil queen from Snow White, and it's witchy vibes, and I'm just really excited. So Heather Walter, if you don't know, she wrote Malice, which was a Sleeping Beauty retelling. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one, and it basically says Snow White's Dark Queen tells her side of the story in this queer, witchy reimagining of the classic fairy tale from the author of Malice. So I am so excited for this one, and witchy vibes. I'm definitely here for witchy vibes during spooky season, so I am really excited for this one. Okay guys, so for my next pick I have decided to go for the next book in the Dream Harbour series, which is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. So for the prompts for this one, they will cover a book set in fall, a sweet word on the cover, a cat on the cover, and a repeat author. Also, I've read from Laurie Gilmore previously. So this is the second book in the Dream Harbour series, and we're following Hazel and Noah in this one. And I think it's a he falls first story. I think he's had a crush on Hazel since they were kids, I think. So I don't want to know too much about it. I know Steph read this recently, but she didn't like this one as much. But hopefully I do, because I really enjoyed The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So this is the second book in the Dream Harbour series. So I'm carrying on with the series, so I am really excited for that one, and the cover looks so cute. There is a cat on the cover as well. I also have Cat Gamer volume 1 I can do as a read as well. That has a cat on the cover too, and the lovely Amanda gifted me the rest of the volume, so I do want to try and binge Cat Gamer in October because I loved the first 2 volumes, so I'm really excited to carry on with the rest of that manga series. So yeah, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore I'm going to be adding to this TBR as well. Next up, I'm going to put A Curious Beginning on this TBR as well by Deanna Rayborn. This will cover the prompts for a mysterious read and a cozy read. I've got really good feelings that this is going to be like a cozy mystery, fantasy, no, not fantasy, more, it's got like a romantic subplot, historical elements in here, and yep, I'm just really excited because I know Steph has been loving this series so much, and Kate Colson also loves the series too, so I'm just really excited to kick off the series. And I'm also going to be doing this as a read along in Barb's book club as well. We're going to be kicking off with A Curious Beginning in October as well. I think I forgot to mention that, but I am really excited to get into the series, and hopefully I love it as much as Steph is at the moment. So yeah, I'm just really excited. Next up, I thought I would add a graphic novel on this TBR, and I'm really excited to give this one a try. The book is Garlic and the Vampire. This is a graphic novel which follows, it's like a little community of vegetables, and Garlic is tasked to go and investigate the castle that now apparently has a vampire living in it, and the vampire seems as like evil, and I think it's like a found family kind of aspect. It looks really, really cute. So for the prompts for TBR Harvest, I can do a vampire read and a found family, so I'm going to be using that for those prompts, and the art style looks really, really cute. So Garlic and the Vampire I'm going to be adding on this TBR as well. Next up, I've got a short horror novella by T. Kingfisher, which is What Feasts at Night. I read What Moves the Dead last year, I think, and I did enjoy it. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was fine, but I wanted to try another T. Kingfisher, like a little short novella, and see how I got on with this one. And I think this one is a bit more supernatural. I don't want to know the actual synopsis for it because I want to go in totally blind, but there is a supernatural prompt that for the trick or treat activation, so I'm going to count it for that one. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to give this one a try. Okay guys, another book that I wanted to get on this TBR will fit for the Grumpy Sunshine prompt, or a character that's grumpy. So the book that I have decided to go for is Whiskey Business by, I don't know the author's name, Elliot Fletcher. Yep, Whiskey Business by Elliot Fletcher. And this is set in Scotland with a grumpy Scottish whisker distiller, and she's an actress. She's a world famous actress, and she ends up coming to Scotland, and I think that there's a romance that happens between them. It does look really, really cute. I've seen it, the book actually, in Waterstones a couple of times, so I do want to try and get it. I think it's currently 99p on Kindle, so I might just read it on my Kindle, but I'm really excited for this one too. Okay guys, and the final book that I wanted to get on this TBR will cover the prompts for a movie to TV adaptation and also historical. Now I would class this as a historical because it was written in the 80s, it's set in the 80s, and I think 80s is a historical period of time now. So the book I've decided to go for, and I'm a little bit nervous about, and that is Carrie by Stephen King. I've never read a Stephen King before, so I think this is probably maybe a good place for me to start. I know of Carrie, the movie, like the girl that's covered in blood, and there's like I think she goes on a massive killing spree, like a massive killing rampage. I think there's bullying that goes on in here, and it's like small town vibes and 80s vibes, and I do like the cover for it, so I am intrigued. I know Barb is a huge Stephen King fan, and she's been going on at me to try Stephen King for a long, long time, so I think I'm finally going to do it. And I think Carrie is quite a good place. I don't think it's too long either, so I think this is probably a good place for me to start. I've also got Misery by Stephen King on my TBR as well. That's more of a thriller kind of side, so I think I might try that as well and see, because I do like my thrillers, so I want to at least try Misery and see how I get on with that one. But Carrie, I'm going to add on this TBR for Trick or Treat. For TBR Harvest. So that's all my prompts and books for that readathon covered, so I'm really excited for that one too. So I'm going to move on to the final readathon that I'm going to be taking part in October. Okay guys, and the final readathon that I'm going to be taking part in is Barb's Camp Crystal Lake readathon. So she has created a bingo board for it, and it looks amazing, and we've got a lot of reading prompts but also a lot of self-care prompts as well, which I think is great, so you can have do a lot of self-care for yourself. So it's going to be running from October 1st all the way through to October 31st, so the whole month of October. And I'll pop the graphic up here so you can see the prompts. So we've got slasher prompt, horror rec, new to you author, a spinner wheel, a book with a red cover, a book with a black cover. So a lot of the books that I've already previously mentioned I'm going to be using for this readathon as well. But for slasher prompt, I'm going to be trying I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I've never read Stephen Graham Jones, but I do like books that have got like campy slasher vibes, like Grady Hendrix, Clown in a Cornfield, that kind of stuff. So I'm intrigued to give this one a try, and I think it's just come out recently as well, so this is a new release too. For series, I've got Clown in the Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo. I need to carry on with that series. New to me author, the September House I've got in here. And we've also got a lot of free passes as well, which I think is great as well. So I've decided to go for adding House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson here. That's got vampires, I think, in it as well. Here Lies the Vengeful Bitch by Cody Crowley. That's like a fun campy horrors as well. Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle I've got on here. So yeah, I'm really excited to give this readathon a go, and I'm obviously here for supporting Barb as well. I've done Camp Crystal Lake a few times now, and I just really enjoyed doing this readathon, and I'm really proud of Barb for putting this whole thing together. So I will end off my TBR with going through some of the other books that I'm really keen to get to in the month of October. So without further ado, I'll talk you through those books as well. Okay guys, so there are a couple of books that I'm really keen to get to in the month of October, so I will go. So I am actually going to be doing a buddy read with one of my friends, Theo, who I know from Steph's Patreon. We have decided to do a buddy read of the Greatcoat series by Sebastian D. Castell, so we're starting off with Traitor's Blade in October. Theo has never read this series. I've read the first book, and I haven't continued on with it, so I am really keen to do a reread. So this is following a group of Greatcoats who've disbanded. The king is dead, and we're following Falkio, Kest and Baraste, and they're basically bodyguards for noblemen who refuse to pay them, and there's a conspiracy around the king dying, and they end up just going on an adventure, and I think it's really good fun. So there's a lot of action in this series, and I am really keen to get to the rest of the books in the series. And there's a new spin-off series that has come out that's set after the original Greatcoat series, so I do want to read this one first, and then I'll be able to go on to that brand new series, because I've heard really good things about that one too. So yeah, Traitor's Blade I'm adding on this TBR, and I'm really excited. Okay guys, so I think I have briefly mentioned Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. This is a new horror release that's set in the 80s Hollywood, and I think it centres around a guy who is a screenwriter, I think, and he writes for, I don't know if it's like a kids TV show where it's like a puppet thing, and the puppets or the demons, like monsters that he's written, actually come to life and they're starting to kill people off. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't want to know too much about it, but I am really excited for this one. And I know Gabby from Gabby Reads has read it recently, and I think she really enjoyed it. So I'm going to add that on my TBR. I've also got Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. I think this is set at a summer camp, I believe. I'm not sure, but I love the cover for this one. It looks like a VHS tape, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So I don't want to know a lot about these books. So, and I also have The Eyes Are the Best Parts by Monica Ken. This one is very much out of my comfort zone. I think it deals a lot with body horror, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one. But if you've seen the Evernight edition that Illumicrate did of this book recently, I just can't with that edition. It's so, it looks horrible to look at, but I can see the point of what they were trying to do with it. But it's, oh, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. But the actual plot of it, I am a little bit interested in, so it's totally out of my comfort zone, but I'm willing to give it a try. So I'm really excited for all of those books to add onto my TBR and try and get in my horror era this year. A new release that just came in that I'm really excited about. I was planning to try and get to it in September, but I didn't manage to do so. But it is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is a fantasy romance. It's got dragons, enemies to lovers in here, I believe, and I know that this has been a really popular indie book that has recently got picked up by a publisher, so I'm really interested in getting to this one. I love fantasies that have got dragons in them, and I think it'll just give me those cosy fantasy romance vibes that I'm looking for, so I'm really excited to get to that release. I also have The Spell Shop as well. I really want to try and get to this one. I think it's going to be like a cosy fantasy. I don't know too much about the synopsis, but I think that there's magic involved. The Spell Shop, it's like a little cosy cottage kind of vibe, and yeah, the cover for that is absolutely stunning as well. So I'm really keen to get to both of those books and just have all those cosy vibes amidst all the horror and thriller stuff as well. So I'm really excited for those books too. Okay guys, and the final book that I'm going to be adding onto this TBR is actually part of my own read-along that I'm doing for the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas. In October we are moving on to A Court of Mist and Fury, which is one of my favourite books of all time. I absolutely adore this book. So we're continuing on with Feyre's story in here, and obviously I don't want, if you haven't read this, I don't want to spoil it for you, but the plot for this just thickens and it just gets so much better. So I'm doing this read along with Laura from the book Hermit and also Amanda from Black Lotus Books, so I am really keen to do my reread of this in October, and I'll see how I get on with it. But I think we will be having the live show on the 5th of October for ACOTAR, potentially. I will need to double check with the guys on that, but this will probably be, the live show for this will probably be the first Saturday of November, I think, so I will keep you guys posted on that. But I just love this series, and this book in particular is just so good, and I think it definitely fits with like the October kind of vibes as well. So that is the final book that I'm going to be adding onto my October TBR. Okay guys, so that is my complete October TBR. I'm so excited for all of these books, I cannot tell you, just for spooky season as well. I think Barb will be hosting a lot of sprints for Camp Crystal Lake as well, so if you are interested in taking part in Camp Crystal Lake, do join Barb's book club Discord. I think she's got a link to it on her Instagram as well, so please go and support Barb as well. I would really appreciate that. And for Spookoplathon and also for the Trick or Treat TBR for TBR Harvest, I'm just all here for the October spooky vibes. So if you like this video, give me a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. If you were watching the video but you didn't have anything to say, leave me like a Halloween themed emoji, like a ghost or a pumpkin or something. Let me know your October reading plans, what you've got planned for October. What spooky reads are you picking up, any horror recommendations, do let me know in the comments down below. But I will hopefully see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye guys!